Teninda Tison Sanje Tom Jejang or Retan Jangora Jamse Jada, Gadin Some, Tuja Danye, Kamsam Jeja Japon Jime, Tanshedu Jayam Para Tampa Jaja, Tamame Bolango, Rapta de Bosan Kipa Jimbe Gone, Japan Geo Jevani Tero Tamje de Tuksewa Jimbe Gone, Jesus Zongan de Dozo, Kangi Japan Tabi Manga Gesan de Bidanda Shen, Sembe Sevis, and the Tarvan Roken, Negative Tujindama, Nature. Japan Tamje Kong, Jabe Tawan Bema Gabe, Jabe Tring Dale, So George and Sonepe Metomba, Jabi Namda Ranjin, Judah, Sento Pete, and then somebody. Pemam Juni Dale Penzo Kanda Kenny Bingo, Yende Kunjo Gavi, Chetra the Nimbitan, the Vietnam Jabola Savanda. Dasun Dovilo Nachila Jo, Kanda Suja Tongan Jitena, the Yellow Nanjara Kam Sadating the Tembichi Chambana, Yamanda Bantana, the Yeke, Layaka, the Dame Jinke. Tramanda May Kenam Jan, Ravakunja Dake, Jineba, Tamjike, the Chin, the Tijurchi. Oh, la so that Valangaso Tari. Any Chugivan Zomse Tamji, La Aning Tomata, Tahi Delis here is.
So first, I would like to greet everyone who has come here tonight for these teachings and say Tashi Dele is a Tibetan greeting, says welcome and something like that. Basically, it means like I wish you goodness and comfort, something like that.
That's all. Then in the Chishagurkota, Nasotada Katsongadi. Zapen Pati Nanola. And in Asozo, Jikarachi Shiva is another, Tati Gitis Kanga, Chembu, Yebi Gang. And in Dele Jarchecheni, and a Jingaso, Ninja down, and a Casri Gendala da, Pagi, Pentuchia down. The Tendrigita Tari Kokop, Yabuji, Lojunda Chesa. Yapo ji yata ani nga so tela tunji ni da khato mambu ji she yabares.
And so last weekend, last Saturday, the main thing that I was talking about was that how we can take the present troublesome situation that we're in and really use that and apply that as a way for us to be able to work with our minds in terms of generating compassion for others, working to help others, generating the intention to help others, and that this is quite a good opportunity for us to learn a lot from this situation and to train our minds by considering and contemplating that situation.
Ani deganaye ta ji deni ninje da zamba da ta pensem da ta tela sopa ani rang julen joba ina ani rang jula de kasere yondan de so cheche chechen ro yeba da ani rang jula ya che kasere kangan de so teni di chongrun ro yeba da ani di chen teni yenda de so la ya pha phe thu thu ya Del tension, then also Kali coaching, Zambling, the St. James Sotamje, Mala Sopati Sotamje, and Jovan of the Rohicheni. And Asota, Ranginica, the Pentoyak. Ta, Tapji Sare, singing Katon Tehibare.
So, what I was talking about in terms of that is that if we can generate these qualities and develop these qualities of loving kindness, compassion, altruistic intention, and so forth in our own mind streams, then that is not only beneficial for ourselves, but also by the condition of those kind of qualities developing within us, that's also helpful to the others who are around us, and that gradually those qualities, as they develop within us, they rub off, they affect the other people around us, and that can gradually spread more and more and create a lot of benefit in this world.
So. And that ring also the here and out there ta chi yen pen se de je un de ka de na te de la yang ta chi pen nang ba chi gi ngu ni ani ta yen da la pen chi ta na ani thomar kar che ba kar re ba de kar re thama kar che ba kar re te tu da na ba tham che de kar che ba kar re sing da ta tri ti ko la so do le na yang bas.
And so today, what I want to talk about and what we're going to discuss is, this altruistic intention, this wish to help others. And so from the perspective of Buddhism or as a Buddhist, what is it that is the most important, aspect, or this is what is the most important thing when we begin some kind of activity, when we're in the midst of any activity, and when we conclude an activity?
Ani da chedang ge da chikbe nga so yen la pen ba dumen de zambleng de thula nyung re nyung do bu chak yo re dini yong so yang da nga so phepi le ka sig re ta che le du ka la de ka nga yong che le sig yo re ta ko di yen pen du bya de ko zawa le ka che song da Tela kasi kangan jiyo. Tenda songza tela jikta kangan de lipa drorche ne. Teni tongta pasang la pa nrot nguen da wuchi. Teni tablam da wu kar chegres. Ta nangba ge nangula. Ani nye dekhe kiyo bas tere.
And so when we are a person who's trying to do something helpful, when we're trying to work for the good of others, first of all, that type of person is quite rare in this world. There are not that many of us, not that many people who have this altruistic intention in the world. And those that do, when they try and embark on any kind of activity to help others, there are always some difficulties that they have to encounter and difficulties that they have to overcome. And so what I want to talk about is the kind of difficulties that can come out as you embark on this kind of altruistic activity, the kind that can happen when you're in the midst of that activity, and the kind that can happen when you're concluding the activity. And that is like, how should we overcome such difficulties when we're trying to embark on this path, or trying to work with some kind of altruistic intention or altruistic activities?
Okay. Ani yang jidang dada nga so jik di sang da. Jidang semin da nga so jik dada America nong de so tamche la jik yenda la rupa che ya la pe dada gonghi ya bu yo nge. Yang tendre la pe thou ni bu yo nge. Da khashi yang ko lo chung chung che mo ne. Rang yin ge jik da hlen ji cho ji ko ni. Yenda la rupa che nge tendre ge sam tang pe mang bu do wa. And so
there are actually in America quite a few people who do help others and who do have good habits and do, have a good, an interest in or a inclination towards being helpful, towards helping others. And some, many also who it's almost like something that they were born with, some kind of innate quality within them. And so I think that this type of teaching can be helpful for people who have that kind of intention.
So, and that the Chetang that Joe Magli the thing also carry Tambo that day, that Tambo can't cheva the carries enough. The name Tambo Carcheva de la Tachetang, yes, Revala, that the number Yehe Wedala.
No.
That she go on the Dota Jimba. Na dwa namba ketele jimba de che nyembar mawa da ni dan timba da som dan de ne ka chi che ba da yes rwala jimba ji nyembar mawa dan ju tendri da rba yi chodi gon da tambo go chu kres
the sugo tsugre.
Aji yendala rupa chea la.
Lasa.
Thomar karcheva. Archeva di number yet it's a hores.
And so within Buddhism, when we're trying to help others, the first thing that we do involves 4 factors. These are the first 4 kind of aspects of embarking and helping something. And so the first is to give something. And we'll get into the specific explanation of what that means, but the first is giving. The second is speaking pleasantly. The third is don't tumba sene karse gore.
Don't timba se de chu down timba here.
That's it.
Ngaranga te na yinyana chia.
Lasso. And so and so the next one is speaking in accordance with, this is coming from a Buddhist perspective, in accordance with the Buddhist teachings. And the last one is acting in accordance with what you speak, like basically walking the talk, you know, like doing what you say.
Okay. Ani that dela young ani ki yenda ka sere so go wang den ya son ro. Dindrig namba de tsani me ba. Ta te go re. Phagi dela be yen pen samba mbashi ba ta dinge chana ulu hie one yen pen samba mbashi ba. Ninge mbashi ba. Pen sem mbashi bi goni ani tangbo ta jimba jing se on ta jimba la pe nam dong shu thombo hie do re chunjong si kham chik te ba ni zong de tena ha le ya ge tene din thombo de hie do re tene dig pa la ta chi na ta tangjo sumba pe na ta chenbo de so tham chi ge ta chi so la ta chi xin de ni jang ta ka chen ko bi ge ta chun to hyu de so jimba tong tu ba ni zong de ta cha tang ji hie ong ge sra la hie ong de ta di ka sri chi ramba ta de chi ta ro ya ro chi de chi des.
And so first, when we're talking about these 4 factors, we need to talk about the fact that these are never motivated by a sense of trying to bring people under your control or trying to, you know, influence people in some way, but it's entirely out of a wish to benefit those people, entirely out of a sense of compassion and concern for them. And so when we talk about the first aspect of giving, there are lots of different aspects or lots of different types or levels of giving, from giving a single bite of food all the way up to, you know, incredible feats of generosity. And within the Buddhist teachings, you know, they're described as, you know, that giving is done as a gradual process of starting with something very small and getting more and more used to it to the point where you can make even greater feats of, you know, generosity.
Ta nga so ge te rang la chu zi yo de ta ga si phaju po la chi jimba ji sem je de gaw cha sum de ga rang ge thula ani nga so chu zi ji de ga rang ge ki yo de ani di gang tabala yang cher ta nyen par ma ba se di ta di jimba de cha chang ma hie ne ya sa re ba la ta di gang tabala ta chi phaju po de sen gawar che che de la ta khorong la ke cha kar gana ya ta he chu bu yor ta pe da ma la gange che na ko ma ge ta ke cha ko khari na he chu bu yor de di ko ten ra bu de ni yen phen tu me de ke de yin de ma dang ani ka se po dang po mo dang ta ten de khorong la gang ga ba te ka ra he ni di ge de ni ka se sem ba de ki bo zo ya che jimba tong ni chingye la ja ba ro mai ba che jimba tong wa da ma se teni ke ja de so nyen bo hie tenda che na teni khorong sem ba de pe le jin do na ten ni ba de te re ta ko ten de chi ni ro ko res.
And so even just that mere act of generosity is considered what we would call, you know, spiritual practice, you know, dharma practice in the Buddhist terminology. And so even just that, if we give something and the other person is pleased, or, you know, if the other person is made happy by that, then even just that alone is sufficient. But, you know, in this progression of these 4 steps, the next step is to speak pleasantly. And what that means is that you try to bring the other person happiness. And so that means you speak about whatever they might find entertaining, whatever they might find pleasant to talk about. So even if the other person is interested in, you know, let's say they're a soldier, then you can talk to them about, you know, about their experience as a soldier or whatever. If someone's into girls, you can talk to them about the girls they like. If they're into boys, you can talk to them about the boys they like, whatever. You talk to them in a way that makes them feel happy and comfortable and brings their mind to a state of, contentment or happiness or relaxation.
Oh, that's a tad. The Chiga de Calata, Penguni, Semjen Gana gave us. Then it did a tape could give a chimbotse. That guarantee this.
And so we say that if you make others happy, then that is virtuous. And so just that, even just that itself is considered to be a virtuous practice.
Ta Kati Sigba Paju de Koran o Chuguji Muni, Jetong, Litong, Jeba, Jeon de Churong, Muni, Dicasset, the Chu de la Gagadudas. They can't read what you say in it, Tiuna. Tene, Ictavalata, o Cassetti, o Dinga so good in the Lamsola, and the Yore, Chulet, and the Yore, singing out the Tenicassetes, Cocasset, here, Chugre. Matoyang de Maimba, o Chiron Cassetinga, till in Zugi in bed of the Tenicasset, Lamachure. It's only the colloquia Martegaran, could give and rector. The Koran Pegani. That you don't think I'll here the country says on any din on the days and about this genie. Then he hear 2 years.
And so then if it were the case through that much, just through that conversation, if it were the case that they became interested in you and they said, oh, well, you're one of these people. This is, still speaking from the perspective of, me as a Buddhist practitioner or from, the Buddhist perspective. If they said, well, you're involved in this Buddhism stuff, so what are the practices of Buddhism, or how would they work with the situation or whatever, then you can tell them a bit about that. You can say, oh, we have these and those methods and these and those trainings and stuff like that, but you can't say it's actually inappropriate and like not allowed to say, well, you should become a Buddhist. You're not allowed to say that. You can only tell them that we have these kind of techniques and we have these kind of ideas. And so then if they're interested in that and they, if they want to hear about that, then you're allowed to tell them, about some techniques or practices or, kinds of trainings that we have within Buddhism.
And it tell young Karsere Dadanga so Siki Davi Segin the Liquorke Bangaika, Sena Yichin thing, he hedged the Dembando Meduteta. Koran Tachi, Koran Rang Tati Mato, Naso get the Jim Sanji here, that could race here don't there.
And the way that we go about that is it's just like there's a quote from the Buddha that said, just like a goldsmith would cut, burn, and rub gold to examine it, you should examine my words in the same way. The Buddha said that. It's a quote from the Buddha. And so in the same way, we should give them some reasons. We should kind of explain to them some kind of reasons for that and not just say that this is how it is and you should accept it. You should give them some reasons and explain it, and then it's up to them to decide whether that is true for them or not.
And that is Jinitachi Chu here and over chess on the Tenet Lamagal Lama La say in the Yore. Then it be Loma Gayan de Lama de Muni Yakurendu Mundu. Any take Jula Muni Tata Tom Ninget at Sancho Semna Sopates on Due Mundu Loma Gayanta. Lama Gayan Tani, take Castle Loma de any Castle. Oh, take Ju Trambo the Medan. And it take Chu de Hiena Pentosa Reda Marela Sopateso Tache. Then it Pentosa de Nika Pats and Gasumba in a Chu here and I wouldn't go to the orders.
And then the next stage, if the person wants to know more, in that case is, there's a process of a student examining a teacher and a teacher examining the student, so that the student will check and see if the teacher seems authentic, if the teacher seems to be good, if the teacher seems to have the qualities of love and compassion. And similar, the teacher examines the student to see, if they think they're an honest person, if they think that they will actually be benefited by these teachings. And if they're both come to some accord about that, then they can begin this process of, a Buddhist kind of education or training or whatever.
And it de la song de Muna Zuyo Masongpa, Flobi Jula Tapa Dams. Muna Zumo Yo say on the Kala, oh, Chechon the Gata Yore, that's in Nakongin on Lapa Yogiana, Hako Mareva. then the Minan Zuyo Masumba, Slow Jula Tapa Dams. That Koran Kanga Karaduna de Kanga de Sayag Chedela. Karet Temba in a de Dantrunge, Dungonge, Topa Mangechin, Petacor Yechin, then this Jenny here goes.
And so then there's a, you know, a statement that says, in terms of the way the teacher should work with the student, that they shouldn't just say that there's like, you know, they yanjachik sunandangi abu go de long de pekens our to do.
Minan Zuyo Masumbasi, that Minan Zuyo said the Penang any Kaya, Mentobenica, Nakon Devina, Chia, Nakon Denga, Nakon Devina. Nega, oh, Chamber the Ganta Yorida Sena. Chi Kaya Koyama, that Chamber got the Labaka, you Toyamareva. Then the woman, yes. That could be Kaya Mantoma, Yoris, 10 Yarava, then the woman.
Oh, Hakos. So they say, you know, don't talk about great things that they'll never understand. You have to work with them exactly in the situation that they have. Like if they have a problem, you need to directly address that problem and not talk about some big ideas of Buddhism that aren't applicable to them right now. So Khen Rinpoche gave an example, like if the two of us were in a dark, completely pitch black room and I swing my arm around like this and say, we have got really big stuff like this, it's totally meaningless. You can't even see what I'm doing. And so you shouldn't teach in a way where you're just talking about some abstract ideas that they have no concept of. You need to go directly to the situation that they find themselves in. If they're having some kind of problem or difficulty or misunderstanding, then directly address that and skillfully address that.
Oh, that's so. That tender chinita but the Latini, Samba, that turn timbasi. Koran Ubuti, that Karishionati. Turn than Timba Hieva Mato, the Gaza cut the one that the Sositozo out in the mind. Ubu Korang turn Kang Yimba, they done Timba man the Hejamnitea, Loma, Tea Cote, Lob Jula Daba, Minanzo Yo, my singing Terela.
That's up. And so that third stage of this, you know, speaking appropriately, that speaking in harmony or speaking appropriately means that you directly address like an actual situation that's appropriate to that person. You're not just talking about some random ideas or some things that you imagine or some big conceptual ideas. You talk about something that directly is in harmony with or directly addresses that person's specific needs and situation.
Oh, that's all. Then the Yiba de la don't pass it, Yiba de la. Tapena Hedicala Chirongo Tenidi Mudim Chirongo Mumase as Palabaina Naran Tenidi Maseva Chegormato Naranga Mase Chirongo Mumase as singing the Lana Tenindrihio Mares.
And so then the fourth one, which is you know, acting in harmony with what you say, basically, is like, for example, if you tell others not to kill people, but you're killing people, that's inappropriate. You need to act in accordance with the instructions you give to others.
Yeah. And that being also the one that you know, Chinos Rupa Chichi say, Teni, Ko Hiang being around the Jing Kaya Majing a pe, Teni and Chapa Dubuchina, Teni Casere, Teni taking over it. Oh, Casengo. That depend the cancer demand or Valan Zene Jang at Sachundum that they pay the chela go to Samare. That catching so good Lale Juni Magic Chick, the Jimmy here by Ina, the Paju Mudea to Wasagrela, they go here the Pentoyo Mares.
And so, when so if you're telling other people that they should be helping others and that they should be doing helpful things, but you're someone who's really stubborn and just sits around and doesn't do anything to help anyone, then no one's going to actually trust you and it's not going to work. So similarly, if you're not doing any of these kind of spiritual practices, but you're telling other people to do them and telling them how to do them, they're probably going to have doubts about what you're saying. And it's also not going to be very helpful for them if you tell them about how to do it if you're not actually doing it yourself, if you don't have any practice of that yourself?
Ta pe chana di ya nga so ta dwa nam ja na no le shini da han thong de mo bu she ko ba. Te da song za ko shini da de she ba ina so so ga la yang di shini de so gom shini gom bi ge te ni ta da he yo de so ngarang la kar chungwa de so na kare gu ho karen da wo chin ji thang gu ho na te so ya ji ta ka se ta dro se na ta ka se thu tham da ji yo ba che ani yen da la pha hi o da tin de da wo ji ta de la tin da den ji ba se la.
And so, like, for example, when I'm giving teachings in the Namchak Foundation about Shamatha and Vipassana, I've given a lot of these teachings, and what I mean by that you should act in accordance with the word is that I should have already done these practices myself, and to a certain extent at least attained some kind of signs of a good result from those practices. And so that's what's meant by acting in accordance with what you say.
Ne de mai ba train ko che so so ka nyam ma le ba che sani de pha hie de ba ina yang ting chang de la phe thu sigire de ne phe chenbu thoya ka le khobu yo des.
And so if someone were to hear those teachings today, not do any practice, and tomorrow start teaching them to other people, it's possible that it could benefit someone, but it's not going to have any large scale benefit.
Oh, la so ta di pe che yenda la ta phe tu che bar che pa la ta ngol ti number ye de dwa number ye se ni jemba nyemba mawa den timba den je ba se ta te la che dang tan de he pe mo mo ji ye de dan do du na de ji des.
And so these are these 4 aspects of the leanchik dupe sen leanchik dupa la kande chik se gore nga chang ngema leanchik wang di due den chik mayim ba ro chi de champagne ko ne che gore yang chik chok ni anchik nga chok yan dupa inji la pa yon na den de tan tis ga ro chi cha ro lo ma duya gi dupa ro chi ro la
Ta di ka se rangdong ge che ni du da ma du chi ba yo ra lan de.
Las
Yar ko ka se de di phen ta ya ge che de la du ya ye chik ta ngarang la phen de mek che ni du ya ji ni la ma ra ba de.
And so these are these 4 ways that we use when we begin to try to do something helpful for others, and these are called the 4 actions of gathering. And what that means is like to bring people in, to give them an opportunity to experience these teachings. And so I said to Khen Rinpoche, well, before we were saying how it's not about like trying to bring people under your power or gather people into you. And when I translate it directly the way I usually translate this word, it has a little bit of that connotation of gathering disciples or something like that. And he said, there's a big difference between, what I was trying to distinguish before and this, which is that there's no sense of in my own self-interest, I want to bring people under my power. It's a sense of, I want to be able to bring people so that they can be benefited by these teachings. And so it's out of this sense of altruism to give people an opportunity to experience these teachings. And so those are those 4 aspects, which were giving, or generosity, speaking pleasantly, speaking harmoniously or appropriately, and then acting in accordance with what we say.
Ta te ta ge ta le ka khang da kare jena yang ta ko phagi ji yen phe je song za ani de ge wa cha du res
La
ta ti dwa number yek no ta cha chong thobya me na yang ko ka se re chom chi te ni ti no pe nyam na jena yang de ka se chama ge wa res.
And so regardless of whether you can actually enact all 4 of these, any of these 4 aspects or any of these 4 practices are all considered virtuous actions, individually speaking. Yeah. So those are the 4 things that are important in the beginning when we're trying to do something helpful, when we're trying to help.
Pardala yang tene karcheva naba ye gun hegiyores.
And then in the middle, there are another four things which are important when we're in the midst of some Dileanchi bars and a country chisorela.
Oh, that the ore la sota pena ta yempen de duhora wala yempen drubya go to do karche go yemi.
No.
Ta mus drug the kablata
That's
pass
So when we're in the midst of our helpful activity, then there are four more factors for that.
Anita pungsu yen la ye hodala. Kyun jog nalo la pungsu yen la ye sing jorala, mubi pong sing. Mubag, sing mubag de jake zavala mubi pongs. Ani temba se on the shop tang temba. Kasser tembi pongche. Ani gabi pongche. Sem gawa gabi pongche. Ani tori pongse torse di tako kasere nikap sam tani din samjuk chini torse yai chio marela. O di torya ye ta ti pongsu ye na yete. Ye hora wala di chiung di ba da chek. Temba da ni gawa da som. Tani di torwa da ye.
That's it.
Arde tene pongsu ye na yese.
And so then when we're in the midst of this altruistic practice, then we have to have these four things, which are interest. We have to have like a keen interest in what wewe're doing. We're going to go one by one before I give you the list, because the words alone can be interpreted different ways. So I want to hear the context before I give you the word for each of the four aspects.
Anin dan dana di pungsu ye sebe. Ta pungsu ye se onde ta na ngamo jagala ta pe jabo top chimbo te sola tene pungsu ye se ne. Ne pung puchung ge chu. Tene tai chu. Ani hin da ge chu. Lang chen ge chu se. Ta dene ma and so
the name for this list of four is actually like the four regimes. And so, in ancient India, they're named after ancient Indian military. So like when a great king would go to war, they would have their infantry, and then they would have their cavalry, and then they would have their charioteers, and then they would have their, I don't know what you call it when guys are riding on elephants. Anyway, their elephant infantry. And so they had these four, regimes of their army.
And that is song that jinata sama nama chama that I don't carry your letter.
That delian da chik sama konalia nangsegi yorela. And so anyway, it would be like these days how we have an army, a navy, an air force, and so on.
That day, take that Jacob Chimbotic Senada, that Namani Jabotic, that Jabotic didn't call you.
So anyway, these days we have big countries. In the past, we would have like a king. So if you had one great king, one large, powerful king, they would have these four aspects, four regimes in their army, in their military.
That day, they son that Jabotab de Car Sechegor said the Soso Chegore. Revala, Soso the Jabotabche. And the Pungsu Yena Yete. The got a mark pungsu do with it. Oh, then there's Jenny, then is some jing and Rodon Chevala. The name Sancho Samba Jabota de la Pungsu Yena, yet a keep it so to go ni. The name
And so this is an example coming from the way of the Bodhisattva of Shantideva. And so when we're trying to help others, then we have to be the king. And we have to use these four regimes in order to help others. And so I'm going to explain then what these four are. And with these four regimes, a king would not only be kind of impenetrable themselves, like that the opposing army wouldn't be able to harm them, but they would also be able to absorb and take on the people that they the kingdoms that they overtook with their military might.
Okay, I understand. And that so somebody that's
okay.
That's
And so you all are bodhisattvas. These are, advanced Buddhist practitioners who are using their their monarchy and their 4 regimes to help others. Okay.
And then the Pongsu Tangbo de la movie Pongse. The Muba se on the Galata Haju Pola ta Pentayada Rupa Cheada, that Tendrigit in the Muba Mawa Senanda, Muba Cheva Senanda, that Muba the same Gregiriva. Muba the Casse, the Wojik the Mama, the Casse, the Wojik Cheva, then you call Casse. Take the cheddar, the Pungsu said the Tessicore. Muba the Casse, the Top Cheva, Casse Mawayana, Delatin the Mubi Pongse.
And so first is the regime of your interest. And so what that means is that you want to help others, right? And you want to do something to benefit them and to help them. And so the greater your help, the more powerful your regime is. And so when you have a very strong, a very keen interest, a very powerful interest and intention, then with that powerful intention, then you have the army of intention. You have a regime, a military regime of your intent.
And that you don't about Mubase, the Gongho got that you don't get Mubase, the Garse or city. The Teni Takarina, Tachi, Penatangala, the Mubayo, said the Tapenangal Mubayona, Padugu, the tendent, the Hako Savache, ne sheet Savache. She be turned ala, they got round in Zambala Mubase. Penet the Godoala Mubase, O Tanga, Penet Jada, which is La Gahona, the Jade Tambunia Hako. The Hako Sadikala, the Humbo race in a Rangatula, Anika said, Zinjatela, and Mubase. Yatanga, Sem Jungji.
And so this attitude of intent or interest is a mental factor. It's an aspect that understands what the other thing is, understands what that is. For example, like if I like tea, then I know what that tea is. I know its flavor, and therefore I have that intent or that attachment, that kind of grasping to the tea. Like I want that tea. I want to get that tea. I have this like intent towards the tea or this intention towards the tea. And so that's what I mean when I say intent or intention. Like I know what I want and I'm going to hold on to it.
Ta Korang get in a Muntun Sundawotela, the knee, ta Mangibata, you're the teta Mangibata, Tetsuni, ta Korang get the Muntun Bitsure.
And the opposing forces to our keen intent or interest then are an uncertainty and doubt in our mind.
Ta Korang gets cylinder with the Zundu Yungagata, yes, or call me by anything so the level, so Javet level.
And so the benefit or the function of having this intent or this intention is that it brings our diligence, it brings our, it brings our focused action. If we have the intent, if we have the intention, then that is going to help generate diligence towards accomplishing that thing.
Okay, yeah, that the number gata Mubase thing and data pache hakoso, maybe same young.
So I think we got that. What do I mean by intent or intention here?
And in data Muba de Teniti Yungwer Chepala Ani Karigor said that Tige Chick Yondan Rawuchi 통고 다 가리네 저기 연대로 통고래 다 배나 장초 선바지이나 근데 장초 생게 표현돼 땡기요래 장초 생게 표현돼 땡온데 표현된 통우니까라 아니 딘더비 가자 주드나 뭐봐 숙치 못된데 용비요래 대땡겨서더라 요래 아 카시지게 농로라지 다 레이던 드리브 생게 줘라 왔다 레이던 드리브 빼는 파기지 개와지 드발라 땡지니 아니 가세리지 대발라 수반 용비요 봤다 제일라 때니 동안 종구요 봤디 땅우드깔라 다 지 같이 단 드리브된 통데 아니 코 가세니 묘바지야게 땡땡 조구요 다 곰도 되는지 고요
And so in order to gain this intent, then we need to see some quality. We need to see some something that will generate that intent or intention. We need to see some good quality. And so for someone in this bodhisattva path, then in order to generate that intent, then they teach about the benefits of that altruistic intention of this mind of enlightenment. And so when they see those qualities and they see how beneficial and how many qualities it has, they get this interest and this intent towards that thing. They get this interest in that altruism. And so it's the same like when you want to gain trust in and have a real interest in your action, your karmic actions, then you are made to study about the function of if you do something which is virtuous, then it will gain a result. It will generate a result of happiness and comfort. And if you do the opposite, then you will get a result of suffering. And so by understanding that, by seeing the reasons and by seeing the qualities in understanding that and acting according to that principle, you gain the intent or the intention towards working with that or working in accordance with those principles.
So that the lesson that bearing us so do Jinanta, Jenda Chilata. Kasere pentuda yendala ani kasere rupachi chetabaina ani ki kasere re ta chenge ta tenda udi yendala pentange rupachi teso thamchila ta ki unitani na so ga yakon thongku doas pe yakon thongku dola yakoya re ani tendabi ki chik kasere me dekho sala dena yandra nangla dena yandra khawa dena yang ko timme de pe khorang la teni di chik yar ndo de ngero ta tende chi chak doas ta denga thungku yores.
And so we see with our own eyes, how people who are doing beneficial work, people who are really helping others, how that they are, we can see that they're doing good work. We can see the work they do is good, and we can see that they're good people. And we can see that regardless of their situation, that by doing that work, they are improving, that they are actually becoming better, that they are improving as people. We can see that with our own eyes, and we can, through seeing that, we can gain some of this intent, this interest.
And in 다 영의 그런 소식이 줄라야 빼 나와대서 다 빠야 가두이나 직 탐지 되는 장보다 보샤다 통 장보다 보샤다 고등에 뭐 가실 되는 차도도 빼 야고 장보 샤다다 보진 통되게 아니 된데 제대 될라 되는 가서 다 나바세는 나와 다세 아니 나와데 데리 제다 선로 여두갈드네 방송 제일라드네 베 나와 참아 다안도두갈 아니 제 답이 해인게 나와 샤세 오 데소 세데데 데소 루구요레스.
And then people who really have that mind of altruism, then they start, as they develop that mind, as it becomes more powerful, they start to see everything as wholesome.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Whose birthday is it?
Happy birthday to you.
And so, people who really develop this altruism, they can really start to see everything, as wholesome, and everyone as, everyone in a positive light, in a wholesome light. And the more they habituate themselves, the more they become, habituated to this altruistic intention, to this pure way of seeing things, then their perception of others becomes more and more pure and more innocent, more and more pure. And when that develops to a really high level in Buddhism, that's what's referred to as seeing everything as a pure land.
카히제라 다 해당의 공도도 갈라 아니 다 팀마 제일 쫄롱 니라 쫄롱 썸라 쫄롱게 아니 가서 판삼제라 빼 도도 시원 로야기도 왔어 다 텔라데 마다 비게다 가스리 강강게 나마테 소레스.
And opposingly, we see that some people become totally habituated to their anger. They get angry once, and then it happens again and again and again. And it becomes, completely habituated to that anger. And that's when we say that they have, the opposite end of a totally impure perception of everything. That's okay. Ngazo tutu mambo mendula.
Revela.
Jeta chonga ne gutu chonga part the real. Deni ngazo da triwa chilenda chuti chega da shagoro wala.
Ozi. Isano marela.
La.
He said the 600 the 600 is it.
I just told Khen Rinpoche, normally, we are only going for an hour, and then we usually leave a half an hour for questions. And he said, who ate all the time? Did some mouse eat the time? What happened to the time?
Oh, la so entende son ta zancho somebody la tambo meba de mambu yo go de any teaching is.
So anyway, the first point for, one of these, bodhisattvas, a person training in this practice, is to have this intent or this interest in helping others.
Ani ta pongsu yen la yen no ne temba sere ta temba se ding de zo ta tamja de de tembo yung ya de jimsen karal thu se tamja de re. Ta chi nge ge da phagi pola chi dendri ge chi leka ji chege yin da phe ji ta yin da sambi de ne tamja de kase. Tembo da kase thakba da kase mama yeba ina ani di kase de phentu chambo chagu yores.
And so the second regime, or the second army, the second force, is the force of stability, and that refers to commitment, the sense of commitment. And so when you have a commitment that's you really make a personal commitment that says, I'm going to help them, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. And when you have that commitment, the stronger it is, the more rigid or the more powerful it is, the more powerful your ability to help is.
Ta korong la ye na mangbo yore te ta dön de zo dambo ka se re ki ta ni ba se de ni thugre sambi ge te ne tamja che. Ani
there's many ways that could be explained, but the main point is to have that feeling like I can do it, to have the confidence and the commitment to know you can do it.
Ani ta di deni ore ya ta tiga tan hie na diksa de ta chi yang de la ka se re ta yang paro dana menthim bi chuk ta chi so ge phage chi drubber che ba la drum tha bya ge ta sem ge na lo la o ta le lo zon da wo ching de cha go wang de shon do je zon da wo tmo go wang de shon do je zon da wo nga ja go wang de shon do je zon da wo tin je che na ya so phang re te song da te tham chi le te ni ma pham ba che ya te ni ka se re tan ba tin de song yo res.
And so this stability is taught as a preventative measure for all of these opposing forces that can prevent us from following through with our beneficial work. And those can be lots of things. They can be, they can be a feeling of inability, like I can't do it. They can be a sense of, laziness, or falling under the power of our ignorance or our pride, or our desires can distract us or can lead us away from following through with our our wholesome activities. And so this stability, this regime of stability, this military army of stability, is our force that prevents these, opposing forces from overcoming us, that we are able to, maintain our stability.
Anita somebody gavi pongs that so be that dada sim mumbo de gasaji or that tino ninguni yenda get the leka ching casendo that de hakwaji that yenda sama susuji pagelan gonko susugi mata susugi non malo ji de dingen da wutene matu yo mareva and this homes on that soso dawaji na that te mai but yenda get turn to good soso gavago Gava Gomia down, Dela Gavi Ponce, Gava down, Flyang driven up with the club Swine, then it's also a pedeco non trachich in Bagreva, or the Telatini Gavi Ponce.
And so the next is the army or the regime of joy. And so we can generate this joy by thinking of, how many people in the world are really doing anything good, and how many people are really just deceiving others and working for themselves or just not really doing anything helpful at all. And we can really generate a sense of joy and purpose that what we're doing is something meaningful and helpful. And so we can generate, a sense of joy and rejoicing in our own wholesome work, and particularly also, or in addition to that, when we see some kind of real wholesome results coming from, the altruistic, intentions and work that we've done, then that just increases our joy and our sense of, enthusiasm even more.
Yeah. Then that Yiba de la that Toripong said the Galata, so good Pagilata, Muni Chiksani, that Jem Matabia, that Chik the Legindua. That Susu Nipagi in Andra, Chik Yondenga in Andra, Karapam Jun, that Pagil, Mandong et so. Ko tene nikap changi tene yuya tela tori pongse nikap changi ya in a same good lima tomba ji ya tela tori pongse.
And so the fourth is the force of knowing when to drop it. And so what that means is that, there are going to be times when there are things that you're not capable of, whether that's because you don't have the power, or you don't have the skills, or you don't have the money or resources. And so the point is to know when to just drop it for the time being, drop it. But don't drop the intention in your mind. You can still have the intention. You should keep the intention to do the helpful thing, even if you're unable to do it. But don't burden yourself with the expectation of doing it. Just drop it for the time being.
Oh, so that the part that the Pongsu Yena Ye Goni, then Yenda Lata, we certainly.
And so when we're in the midst of our, altruistic activities, then these are these four regimes that we use in order to accomplish our beneficial work.
Anita Jogutini, that Tama Garchevanda with it, that's over the Mana Jigata. And I saw in a Namju Moa Sigirava, Moa the Mana said it. He gave it to Yandala, who the Nidi Mana Juk, then this year the Peggy or Susi same this or Yajin Roya, the Yandala pen to it, then this one that Tama de Kachimores.
And at the end, our important factor is to make aspirations, wholesome aspirations for others, and to dedicate the virtues, the merits that we've done this virtuous or meritorious thing. And we have some merit that we've attained from that, but we take that and we dedicate it to the good of others. We say, may this merit, serve others. May it be helpful to others. And so it's really important in the end to end whatever kind of virtuous practice or virtuous activity we've done by making aspirations for others, by dedicating the merits of that to others. And that's very beneficial for the actual people that we're dedicating and praying for, but also for our own personal development of our own minds.
That to the number time, the Garcia data, Garcia, Yendala Rupaji Chegin, Sambi Sembade, that to Nam the young Plumatang Bache, Shoka, Ningon, Gonda, to that, Sam the young data. To the number time, the Garcia Hudites.
And the most important thing that we, maintain is the intention to help others, in all times of our lives, in the morning, in the evening, throughout our day, in all aspects of our life, that's the thing that we should hold on to, is that intention, that wish to help others. Lo midorwa. So to never drop that, never throw away or never drop the intention to help others.
Never drop. And that is it. I'm do say do. Ani chena bata twa tu go sare bata.
Twa de chigdola. So we're going to go into some questions now. I've got a question here from Jan that says, what if someone needs strong correction for action, and you may have to say something that will not make them happy in the short term? Da mishamba gidache karise dache nortre che gida leka daw che ani nganso konzo gya nortre jaye che de chik lagorwala tsam ani nekable an konzo sem magawa daw che sogorba. Ani de taron shegorbe lagorbe.
Oh, de kasere ta yenda phaju gol phen thogu dona teni kasere teso samadi che chogres tena digi phen thosare da no chisare te sosi sam tangugres.
So Jan's question here was, what if someone needs strong correction for action, that you have to say something that might not make them happy in the short term? And the point is that if it benefits them, then you should do it, but you need to really think carefully about whether it's actually helpful to say or not.
Ani ponsu jog no na che he yore. Ta pe na ta changcho samba rab drain tha som ya ne rabi na ta den rabi ki ka che ka nga chen te so sal phan ro chi ni di ko manthun ba te yang thim ba zon ro nge chi. Ani ringbo de ge te ni kasere ta nekap chang ki te ga rong te ni chi ta phe mathu dikala ta nekap cham te ga no ya je ta thama de ge chi te ni di sacha de yang te si chi yenda la phan ro chi ni de go ya te som thama he gi yore.
Rab de kange chesa la yan chi par do tumbo do chi so ro la
re ta ko pa gi che dra chenge jora na samji do je ne te ga ro son theng chen da ore ta
la so
son theng chen sal phan ro ko nyumung pha che ya ra ba ta.
And so within this discussion of these four regimes, there's also a discussion of the bodhisattvas, the people who are enacting this or who are working with these techniques, in terms of being of the highest level, middling level, and lower level in terms of their capacity for this kind of action. And so it's said that the person with the highest capacity for this kind of action will go directly to the situation where there's a problem, or let's say that there's in the example of the war, they go directly to the opposing army, not with weapons, but just directly discuss the situation and break it from the root. The second, they might, even the middling, there are even times when they can't complete what they're trying to do and they just have to stop. And the third, the lowest, might actually have to go to another place to escape from the situation. Like if they themselves are in a situation, the first will go directly to the source of the situation and solve it from the root. The second may have to leave it for the time being because they immediately can't do anything about it. And the lowest one may have to actually escape the situation entirely. That's
Ani chese twa yemba chi yose.
Chek de gyan dagnang ge coordinate chi lab song la. Ani de gyan chek karese gore da de ngasa da chik ma chen ni pe kap gyan chik Germany gi senzen chi do pa du cha chik. Kon dakwa re basic do.
Ale ta kon ji de tang ge chi ka se re tangbo da korang di chi dakwa re sila. Ko ka se chi di pu chung chong tangbo da uji che ung di kam da je la korang la semba la di nak sem da no sem la so pa tendri ge ta chi chawan da chi da yo de re ma tu chi ge shuk chum de chi yo ma re sila la. Ani jis korang di tawa nge ba chi shok chi ni de pe du ko cha re was.
And so to get to Jan's other question, is Hitler pure? We were talking about pure perception. And so, Khen Rinpoche said, when he was a very young child, I'm sure, that there was still some kind of root or some seed within him for some kind of bad or harmful intention. But, there was no like strong capacity or real manifest, evil or anger within him. And it was just through, conditioning and through growing up in certain circumstances that he developed such evil and, harsh views of the world. So from one side, we can say, yeah, he was pure.
Yeah. And Korang Jiguni Danning a Katong de Yeva Nagin is Sam Guni, Tain the Masa Matanson, and so the Chipare, Silva. Code the Gasset Magiva Mares.
And if we refer back to what we were talking about last week in the previous teachings, where I was talking about, the depths of everyone's mind being pure and peaceful, then his mind also in its depths is exactly the same as ours. It has this, pure and peaceful nature. But he was overcome by, bad views and, overtaken by a, sense of power. And then that, Tile anchik na so la dakpa rawachik nang sona deni kunzo le anchik da dukcha rawachik che chogor wala.
La
Da nganso ge anchik da na rawachik da chik nganso na wala anchik dak sona da shen rawachik dakpa rawachik nganso le nang chogore da kunzo le an me jitang ge jiktimba ge ngo le anchik dukcha chingen deri che chogor ba nganso dakpa na ne ya.
Oh re. So the nawa se sosu ge di nawa re ba.
And when we say, pure appearance, what that means is that they appear to the individual who has purified themselves as pure. It has nothing to do with whether the other person is good or bad or anything like that. So I said to Khen Rinpoche, just because they appear to me as pure doesn't mean that they can't be doing all kinds of bad things in an ordinary sense that other people would see and recognize as evil. And he said, yeah, of course, perception, when we're saying pure perception, is an individual's perception of other things. Like just because I see something in a certain way doesn't mean that has to be the case for anyone else. And we can't conclusively say that anyone is bad because there are plenty of people who consider that bad person really good.
Yeah.
And we also can't say that that same person is conclusively good because as many people as see them as good, there are many other people who also see them as bad.
Yeah.
Dada tuwa shimba libgu mendula.
That's all.
Tarong karma dun se du.
Vale, that's all. Ani da che number de mixe ta trava tende mendo de medical ta da so ko te so ne shuk chembo chida gom gu ba che ani so lo jang ze gi chalang so he de years.
And so, there don't seem to be many questions here. So what I've been trying to talk about tonight is something that doesn't require a lot of meditation or doesn't require you to familiarize yourself through meditation. It's just something that you can contemplate and some tools that you can use to train your mind.
And the song the ni here ya jim sen de so chino ya ko sei ta tende ji yenda la ta yenben ji je ba yin de la phen tu du e yong du e ji so la ta ne ka tha to ga de phen tu du de ya ko de ne ta ji ta si.
And so think about, the reasons and everything that I've talked about here. And in the midst of your own activities, when you're trying to do something helpful, see if these are actually helpful. See if you get some benefit from them, or see if you actually are at a loss because you're trying to use them. See if you're actually getting some benefit or some kind of, see if you're getting something good out of it, or see if they're actually causing you more problems by trying to work in this way. And examine it for yourself and see how it works out.
Ani ta bede nangba rang la ta da shunge de ba ina teni ta da che Lee give us singing the Sapala Tenchini, and it got it. So the Mama de Tachini, and it when a number of yards in the Jeva Mambo kill by in it, and it gave out the Sotan Lani Lari, then a tan and docini, then it Takwalan Dotsor. They so gone, Takatin Lee Jimmy the Gongre. And then, Casere, young cope, so solar penetatic, Chadu the Najalas of a Shuchimbo, Jedeva, that other take home to the color, young nowadays, the Dick Casset do do here. Oh, the Digitan River of Segomare, Takachi, the Jimrinian and Janny, the Gong University.
And so we, as Buddhists, speaking specifically from a Buddhist perspective, will really contemplate and meditate on this when we see that that as a result of doing virtuous actions, that one's perception becomes more and more pure, that people experience more and more comfort from that. And when we see that, and from a strictly Buddhist perspective, then we will also talk about future lives, that by familiarizing ourselves in this way, by committing virtuous actions, that's going to actually create more and more fortunate circumstances for us in the future and cause our perception to become more and more pure. And that conversely, by familiarizing ourselves, that is by repeating habitual patterns and behaviors of minds like jealousy and arrogance and so forth, that actually causes our perception to become more and more impure. And when we meditate and when we contemplate that process, then that leads us to have, more trust in, or more trust in and more enthusiasm towards our own practice of, practicing virtues and avoiding, destructive behavior.
Anita, oh, the Sundavuchi, the Dikatavalatachi, same Gnoneta, same Tohu, Ravotelata, Sancho, same say. Then Yang Duna Tanchi, Sergini, make up the tattoo, get any Devala go and do with it, Loteta. That's Sancho, same secure. They get any pain. They yona round a pento caratu, Yandala pento caratu, young Dela Tatini Gong.
And then similarly, we will contemplate the benefits of this mind that we call bodhicitta. It's the mind of enlightenment, which is the mind which wishes to remove all beings from suffering and place them into the highest state of joy. And we think about what are the benefits of such a mind, of having such a mind. What would be the benefit for me to have that intention? What would be the benefits for others to have that intention? And we, meditate on that.
Then Namjun Tan the so Tamji so Laland of which is it, a Lale. The door number yuk. Door number yet in Gola Laleji. Parla Anika said Tata D. Pungsu Yetiche. Oh, the nigga said in Jogla Tata D. Moa the Mona Chichi, so to get that so the Sanchusimatic Lalang with Stank or us.
And so these are, what we talked about tonight are real, things that we put into practice. They're not just like things we meditate on in our mind, but they're things that we enact in our life. And so these, in the beginning, these 4 qualities or these 4 actions of bringing people to us through pleasant speech and giving and so forth. And then in the midst of our helpful activities, using these 4 regimes or these four army military forces. And then in the conclusion of, aspiration and dedication. And these are what we refer to as, things to put into practice, things that we actually, when I say put into practice, I don't mean sitting on a cushion, but things that we enact, in our lives.
And then Jimba said the young chick take your way at the summer matang silva. That same good nalola when you pajupo the pen tuna, ye carrying a chick taking, say we send out the man yam to betch. That day you are that did Jimba no is.
And please don't think of generosity or giving as necessarily having to give something. Even just, in your mind, wishing to help others and wishing to give something to others, wishing to give up something for others is serving as an antidote to your own possessiveness and covetousness. And, you know, that itself is supreme generosity.
So the data nangba yida said the schedule. Yida said the coaching that maybe get no one shutting is yore. Nasola tenda yore ki yona ya made with Nawa. Karina J yona ni yona that ja tong trim bum that's what good catching. Kupa nam pet that ongwa chani. Catching ya that's on the Kuya Mevado. Teaching community that's on the way. Tender buying by so Samba de Su Congress and Jimba the Tong Sandy Yona then a condi there. Oh, Nala you be no one that is seminal shut in us, so like Chico Yores. Cadina maybe now a shut in a Chico Yomaris.
And so within Buddhism, we also talk about something that we call pretas or hungry ghosts. And these are spirits who have this, you know, impoverished mentality. They have a mentality of always thinking they don't have anything or they don't have enough of something. So if they have one thing, they want two. If they have two, they want 10,000, 100,000, a million, whatever. We have that in our minds. And so we have this emptiness in our minds that we can never get enough. We never fill up our, you know, we're never full. And so, you know, who is full is people who have generosity, because people who have generosity don't have this feeling of having nothing. They always have a feeling that they have something to give. They don't feel that impoverishment of mind. They don't feel, they don't have poverty mentality. And so it's actually very happy and very pleasant to be generous and to have that mind of generosity.
Oh, so any ta chenamba dina shata tese zundu hosare and tende songza tende chini. Oh,
and so I think we're out of time here tonight. So, you know, please think about these things.